5. Better physical health in rural environment. It is not God's will that his people shall settle in the cities, where there is constant turmoil and confusion. Their children should be spared this, for the whole system is demoralized by the hurry and rush and noise. Selected Messages, Book 2, page 357, 1902. To many of those living in the cities who have not a spot of green grass to set their feet upon, who here, year after year, have looked out upon filthy courts and narrow alleys, brick walls and pavements and skies clouded with dust and smoke, if these could be taken to some farming district, surrounded with the green fields, the woods and hills and brooks, the clear skies and the fresh, pure air of the country, it would seem almost like heaven. Ministry of Healing, page 191 and 192, 1905. The physical surroundings in the cities are often a peril to health. The constant liability to contact with disease, the prevalence of foul air, impure water, impure food, the crowded, dark, unhealthy dwelling places are some of the many evils to be met. It was not God's purpose that people should be crowded into the cities, huddled together in terraces and tenements. Ministry of Healing, page 365, 1905. Raise your own provisions. The Lord desires his people to move into the country, where they can settle on the land and raise their own fruit and vegetables, and where their children can be brought in direct contact with the works of God in nature. Take your families away from the cities is my message. Selected Messages, Book 2, pages 357 and 358, 1902. Again and again, the Lord has instructed that our people are to take their families away from the cities into the country where they can raise their own provisions, for in the future the problem of buying and selling will be a very serious one. We should now begin to heed the instruction given us over and over again. Get out of the cities into the rural districts where their houses are not crowded closely together and where you will be free from the interference of enemies. Selected Messages, Book 2, page 141, 1904. Locate institutions just out from the large cities. Let men of sound judgment be appointed, not to publish abroad their intentions, but to search for such properties in the rural districts, in easy access to the cities, suitable for small training schools for workers, and where facilities may also be provided for treating the sick and weary souls who know not the truth. Look for such places just out from the large cities, where suitable buildings may be secured, either as a gift from the owners or purchased at a reasonable price by the gifts of our people. Do not erect buildings in the noisy cities. Evangelism, page 77, 1909. Coorambong, New South Wales. Where shall our Australian Bible School be located? Should schools be located in the cities or within a few miles from them, it would be most difficult to counteract the influence of the former education which students have received in regard to these holidays and the practices connected with them, such as horse racing, betting, and the offering of prizes. We shall find it necessary to establish our schools out of and away from the cities, and yet not so far away that they cannot be in touch with them, to do them good, to let light shine amid the moral darkness. Fundamentals of Christian Education, pages 310 and 313, 1894. Everything about the place had impressed me favorably, except the fact that we were far from the great thoroughfares of travel, and therefore would not have an opportunity of letting our light shine amid the moral darkness that covers our large cities like the pall of death. This seems the only objection that presents itself to my mind. But then, it would not be advisable to establish our school in any of our large cities. 8. Manuscript Release, page 137, 1894. I am more than ever convinced that this is the right location for the school. 8. Manuscript Release, page 360, 1894. Huntsville, Alabama. Those who have charge of the schoolwork at Graysville and Huntsville should see what can be done by these institutions to establish such industries so that our people desiring to leave the cities can obtain modest homes without a large outlay of means and can also find employment. Letter 25, 1902. It was in the providence of God that the Huntsville School farm was purchased. It is in a good locality. Near it there are large nurseries, and in these nurseries some of the students have worked during the summer to earn money to pay their expenses at the Huntsville School. Special Testimonies, Book B, 12, page 11, 1904. The Huntsville School farm is a most beautiful place, and with its 300 and more acres of land should accomplish much in the line of industrial training and the raising of crops. Special Testimonies, Series B, 12X, page 13, 1904. Recently the question was asked me, would it not be well to sell the school land at Huntsville and buy a smaller place? Instruction was given me that this farm must not be sold, that the situation possesses many advantages for the carrying forward of a colored school. Special Messages, 359, 1904. Berrien Springs, Michigan. I hear that there is some thought of locating the school at Berrien Springs in the southwest of Michigan. I am much pleased with the description of this place. In such a place as Berrien Springs, the school can be made an object lesson, and I hope that no one will interpose to prevent the carrying forward of this work. 4. Manuscript Release, page 407, July 12, 1901. The good hand of the Lord has been with our people in the selection of a place for the school. This place corresponds to the representations given me as to where the school should be located. It is away from the cities, and there is an abundance of land for agricultural purposes and room so that houses will not need to be built one close to another. There is plenty of ground where students may be educated in the cultivation of the soil. Review and Herald, January 28, 1902. In moving the college from Battle Creek and establishing it in Berrien Springs, Brethren Magan and Sutherland have acted in harmony with the light that God gave. They have worked hard under the great difficulties. God has been with them. He has approved of their efforts. 4. Manuscript Release, pages 260 and 261, 1904. Stoneham, Massachusetts. The Lord, in His providence, has opened the way for His workers to take an advanced step in New England, a field where much special work should be done. The brethren there have been enabled to arrange to change the location of the sanitarium from South Lancaster to Melrose, a place much nearer Boston, and yet far enough removed from the busy city so that the patients may have the most favorable conditions for recovery of health. The transfer of the New England Sanitarium to a place so convenient to the city of Boston is in God's providence. When the Lord sets His hand to prepare the way before us, God forbid that any should stand back, questioning the wisdom of going forward or refusing to give encouragement and help. The removal of the New England Sanitarium from South Lancaster to Melrose has been presented to me as being directed by the Lord. Special Testimonies, Series